So we went from an entire marketing plan that was put together for the year to we had no money. And so pivoting was obviously the key there in terms of, what are really effective marketing and communication strategies that we could use with a minimal budget.
On today's episode of Rise, Grind, Repeat, we talked to Christine Ferris from True Foods Kitchen. Talk about how they're reaching new audiences and driving more foot traffic by creating educational content. Let's dive right in. Thanks so much for joining on another episode of Rise, Grind, Repeat. I'm excited about this because your history, lifelong marketer, specifically in the food and beverage industry, and I mean that is one industry that has been hit hard. I mean, with COVID, between having to revamp business process, their offerings and all that, to things are about to reopen. So I'm sure you have been extremely busy.
Yeah,
recently.
it's been a crazy year to say the least. A lot of learnings going into it. It's, when you take, I've been in the marketing industry now for almost 10 years, all in the hospitality industry. I did a little bit internships in college and stuff at places that weren't hospitality necessarily, but I immediately kind of jumped into the restaurant business. But even, looking over the past year, it's definitely, it's been tough, not only for marketers, but also operationally. And, we're lucky. At True Food, we have a big following and a loyal following as well. And I think we're a big enough brand that we've been able to come out of it. But there's so many people that have really struggled, but we've taken a lot of learnings. I think we're kind of looking at this year as a really awesome opportunity to come back and welcome people back into the restaurants, hopefully, over the next couple months. So yeah, it's been a lot, but it's been exciting too.
Yeah. And before we get into kind of some of the strategy updates that you guys have done and how you guys have navigated, would love to, you mentioned you've been in marketing for quite some time. What got you into marketing? Because it's a beast in and of itself. It's not like most industries. And so it takes, I think, a special person mentality and all that. So what drove you to marketing? Yeah,
so I actually grew up playing soccer all my life. I think I quickly realized, seeing how many other people play soccer and are really great, I was like, I can't go to college to play soccer. I'm not going to be a pro soccer player. So I really wanted my career to be established based on where I went to school. So I immediately got into the business school at University of Colorado at Boulder, joined the business fraternity there, and took a bunch of marketing classes. Personally, my personality is very outgoing. Like, I get a lot of energy from working with people. So I love the sales aspect of it. And I kind of did a little trial and error, without playing sports in college, like a lot of people did. I had the opportunity to do a bunch of different internships. So I did everything from sales to events. I worked with some of those bigger brands like Nestle. I did a lot of their on-campus events, which was awesome. Also a lot of work, but again, a lot with people, which I really enjoyed. And then social media really took off when I was, a junior and senior in college. Instagram went live, and the whole, landscape of social media really changed, and I loved it. So I got an internship with Frontier Airlines doing all of their social media.
Wow, really? Like all of it, like leading the strategy and everything?
It was a lot more of the customer service side. So I would honestly say it was more of a customer service role. But, as an intern, you come in, you're learning a lot about the brand just from what people are saying, issues or compliments that they have, and then, immediately responding. So had a little bit on the event side, sales, and then also with social media, and just fell in love with it. And I was offered a job the day I graduated from as a senior at CU Boulder to go work for Smashburger. Smashburger is a fast casual burger restaurant that started in Denver, and I think they have over 500 locations across the globe now. They're actually a global company, but yeah, I was lucky to go work for them. I immediately took a job as their social media coordinator, and then expanded my role there into email marketing, content marketing. And throughout my 4 years there, went from, like I said, the social media side to more of that public relations side. And I just fell in love with the hospitality industry. And I realized that being around food, I'm a huge foodie, and also people, was really my passion. And that's kind of where I decided I wanted to go. But what I also learned working at Smashburger was you have to be able to have a passion for what you are marketing.
Yeah.
I love the brand there. They're an incredible brand. But the food for me wasn't what I was passionate about. Growing up playing soccer, I'd always had a huge passion for being healthy and living a healthy lifestyle. And I remember it was actually right before I started at Smashburger. I had just walked into True Food Kitchen. They have a location in Cherry Creek. And, you walk in and you just get this energy immediately from the vibe of the staff and how bright it is. And then, the food is just amazing as well. And I said to my boss at the time, I said, I think I'm going to have to work here one day, not right now, but one day. And so when I realized that I really needed to have a passion for what I was marketing, it came to me that I needed to go work for True Food. So I kind of on a whim reached out to the VP of marketing, and True Food at the time was a part of Fox Restaurant Concepts, which I'm sure a lot a people here are familiar with. Amazing company. So I came and I came in at the right time. It was kind of a weird, timing opportunity for me to be the brand manager for North Italia, which is one of their restaurants as well, and then True Food Kitchen. And at the time, there was still an umbrella of those 16 brands all within the Fox Restaurant Concept company. So for me, it was really cool to have a bunch of brands to work on. I'd never done that before. But yeah, I mean, honestly, as a marketer, I did a lot of trial and error throughout college, through internships. Like I said, love being around people, but then also really wanted to follow my passion. And that's where I am today.
Yeah, no, and I love that, because at the end of the day, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, it's just not fun to get up and do what it is that you're doing. I mean, see so many people, whether it be working or running a business, that it's just like, I'm just here. Right. And it sounds like, I mean, you brought up, you learned a lot through your internship. I mean, I see a lot of times, I mean, working at different agencies here, it's, interns come in, some are eager, some are just like, it's an intern. I'm just going to get what I get out of it and move on. Sure. How big did that play in, I guess, your role of growth and identifying what it is that you love? Because you could have brushed it off, but you were eager and wanted to learn and try new things. Totally.
And I feel like I'm an internally competitive person, and whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but I loved the restaurant industry because it is so competitive. And especially as a marketer, marketing restaurants right now, especially right now, you're constantly trying to get people's attention to get you to come into the restaurant. You're constantly selling, and with the evolving landscape that has now transitioned into digital marketing, it poses a lot of competition out there for people to get you to come in. So for me, it was realizing that for having a passion in that health and wellness industry, I needed to go do that. And if I were to ever move on from True Food, I think that's where I want to remain, just because me waking up every day doesn't feel like work. It truly feels like I'm waking up and doing what I love to do every day. I think it's also extremely important to surround yourself with people that are just as passionate as you are. And that's what I've realized in working at True, is every single person, from a dishwasher to a cook to, a hostess, is just as passionate about the company as our CEO is, and as I am, and our entire team. And so, and I thrive off that passion and that energy. So, and not to say that my previous roles and companies didn't have that. It's just when you find that perfect fit of a passion, but also are surrounded by great people that make you better. It's awesome to see.
Exactly. No, I love the competitive side. I think, as you said that, I think everyone in here has actually played sports at some point. And I think competitiveness is I love it, because I don't know, it's just makes you drive to just try and do better, which then you're doing better for the client and all that. And so, here in the soccer background, definitely see where that competitiveness comes from. Yeah. But outside, I mean, everyone can probably agree. I mean, the mental health side of things, I mean, doing something you love, there's obviously the benefit there. But in terms of the actual output and the effort that you put in trying to get the brand out there, I mean, how much better of, I guess, a marketer were you, because you were actually aligned with, a brand that fits more of your passion, the people around you. So, I mean, did your work start to excel even more than I'm sure it already has?
Totally. And that's a nice little segue. So what I love about True Food is, and I know that we were probably going to go into this later, but what I love about the brand is that we really are trying to solve a big problem. I think that people they're so overwhelmed and stressed out by eating out in general and what's right to eat. There's a million diets out there. Are you keto? Are you gluten-free? Are you paleo? Are you just trying to eat healthy? Are you following the anti-inflammatory diet. Whatever it is, people are so stressed about what to eat, and especially going out when you want to indulge with friends and family, there's a stress that you're going to go out to eat and you're going to feel really bad. So, True Food was founded on the belief that eating out and eating good food should not make you feel bad. Like it should make you feel really good. And that's what we're trying to change in people's minds. And over the past, I would say even 2 years, even more so, we're really pushing that mission of ours. And it's come into fruition more with COVID because eating healthy, and they've even proved it over the past couple months, eating healthy, whole foods, anti-inflammatory diet can actually help you increase chances of not getting COVID, of having a higher and better immune system, or if you have COVID, fighting it off quicker. So for me, over the past couple of years, seeing how eating and dieting has evolved, I think people are moving away from the idea of dieting, quote unquote dieting, and really just putting wholesome, good food into your stomach. I think for us, we have a couple of challenges. True Food, one, is not in every market, right? So we're currently in 35 markets, soon to be 36, but a lot of different places probably need a True Food that we're not able to bring them. The other thing is, with higher quality ingredients comes a higher price point. And so my job as a marketer is to help people understand why they're paying, $22 for a whole grass-fed burger with a salad versus $5 at In-N-Out. And that is tough. I mean, and not everyone can afford that on a daily basis. But it's just re-educating people that what you put into your body essentially affects how you feel. It also affects your mood. We're excited. We're about to launch, we're a seasonal restaurant brand. So we are about to launch a new menu in April. And with that, we're going to be trying to shift the way that people are thinking about eating food. So it's more about, how do you want to feel after you eat? Like, do you want to feel energized? Do you want to feel happy? Do you need to calm down and relax? What are the ingredients that you can put into your body in order to do that? So we're working through a lot of that. But yes, the passion for me has come out and seeing that there is a huge problem out there that people really don't know, one, how to eat, and two, when they do go out to eat, they are either overindulging or they're not putting the right things in their body. And so it does become a stressful experience when you go out to eat, and you're automatically thinking you're going to feel bad afterwards.
Yeah. Put good food in your body. You'll feel good. Then you can go get the job that allows you to pay for eating out at True Foods every single day.
Yes, exactly.
That's exactly
it comes
how
all
it
together.
But I think you bring up a good point, and I think that's something a lot of businesses struggle with as well. Is I do great work. It's more expensive than the others. I could easily come down on price, or I could promote the value of the service that I do. So how do you guys bake that into your marketing and your communications when on social, any advertising that you do?
It's a great question. So our marketing strategy has shifted over the past couple of years. Obviously, everyone's on their phones or their computers, right, or a digital device. So we really, in terms of a strategy, we build out a calendar that primarily consists of about 80% digital. So it's email marketing. It's how are we messaging to our loyalty program through our app on our phones. Our digital media strategy consists of paid social, search display, and then how are we reaching people in the restaurant. So our struggle and our challenge as a marketing team is, how do we communicate, like you said, all of the benefits of eating healthy and why you're paying more across channels that are difficult to do that. So for example, you can't really explain and educate people on a digital ad that you have 3 seconds to get their attention. Where we really utilize that is places like our website, where people are spending a little bit more time reading about our brand. We utilize our email communication strategy as really our primary source of communication. And that's because A, people are reading that longer, and B, we're able to directly target messages based on people spending. So right now we have a loyalty program, and we just launched a new one. And the reason we did that was we want to know our guests better. And what we found is when we're able to target messaging based on what they want to see and hear and why they're coming to True Food, maybe why they're not coming to True Food, we're able to see those direct results quickly. The other place we do it a lot is the in-store piece. So for example, when we launch new seasonal menus, a lot of the new items that we put on the menu are going to be ingredients that wouldn't typically be that familiar ingredient to someone. So for example, we have, like last year we had jackfruit, we have, the sea buckthorn berry. We have a couple of new ones coming this year. And we really pride ourselves in having those ingredients that are kind of the superfood ingredients that aren't really well known, but that also poses a challenge as marketers. Like you need to tell people what it is, right? Like, because if I don't know what it is, I'm probably not going to order it. And with that comes then messaging of the ingredients. And so from a marketing standpoint, our strategy always consists of an in-store piece. So whether that lives at the table, it's a table card that they can read while they're sitting there enjoying time, or it's an A-frame to get them to come into the restaurant. Or, as takeout has increased with COVID, our off-premise business has gone up significantly since last January as compared to what it was prior. But it's what is that piece that people are taking home, maybe putting on their fridge? Is it a magnet? Is it a bag stuffer that just has a little bit about what they're eating? So it's all those different messaging points. And the other big piece, I think a lot of people forget that a marketing strategy, especially for a restaurant, really relies on the staff to bring it home. So we can have a huge marketing campaign that we are essentially sitting at the office and saying, hey, here you go. Here's our marketing campaign, bring it to life. If the staff can't get behind it, then it's not going to work. Because we have, a couple of minutes with staff coming into tables. And if they're not selling our food, our story, and our mission, then it's not going to be brought to the guest correctly. So it's everything from digital with the, effective strategy based on the platform you're messaging on, to in-store, whether it's a table card, but then also the staff as well.
I love it. I mean, education is the name of the game. I mean, if you educate, they're going to see the value. They're then going to come in, pay those higher prices. But I think you hit on, two things I'd like to dive into before the loyalty program. Really, I think the struggle that you mentioned where the sales team or the staff, I think there's always a huge disconnect between, you got marketers that are like, oh, we got these genius messages. We're doing this. We're going to bring them in. And all of a sudden that enthusiasm, what's being said, the actual words that are being said don't translate into what the customer experience is once they go in there. How are you guys bridging that gap?
It's a good question. So we've done a lot. We hired a new chief people officer who came from Shake Shack, and she really was known there for being an amazing team lead too, and bringing the marketing and just all of the arms of the business together with the team. So a couple of different things we do. So as a marketer and really putting together the calendar for the year, when I'm presenting a campaign, it always has to have a staff component. So when we are getting back into the spring, so I'll continue to kind of refer back to this spring menu launch that we have coming in April. What we are envisioning is and hoping for is that people are going to be excited to hopefully come back into dining in restaurants if they are comfortable. How do we get our staff excited about that? We're bringing in things like staff t-shirts that are going to have a conversation starter on the back of their shirt. So for example, if it's how do you want to feel today? What do you want to feel today? So it's doing the staff t-shirts. We do a bunch of incentive contests. So if it's, selling a new menu item, is it having people sign up for the loyalty program, having those talking points front and center for them. So that's what a lot I think of people forget, is that while you have a campaign ready to go, everything from a digital standpoint and in-store standpoint from a marketing, side, then there's a whole staff piece. And so a lot of like what we have as a checkpoint for us now is what are those staff talking points, and they need to be quick and easy. What's the 10-second elevator speech that we want our staff to get across to our guests. So it's incentive contests. It's, just educating people with trainings. We have an amazing chef team. And so they do 4 different seasonal rollouts a year. With those seasonal rollouts comes the chef training and the talking points piece. So they do regional chef trainings, and then those disseminate down to all of their sous chefs. So it's really kind of starts from the top. You got to have your staff talking points and strategy, and then work with everyone on your team to really bring it home.
Amazing. You just fold them into the conversation and somehow it works. I think that's what the biggest disconnect is, just marrying sales and marketing. It's like so many great ideas from the marketing, and it's like, well, we just need to be aggressive and sell. But I think that's where a lot of missed opportunity is. And it creates a better experience, which is what consumers are wanting, especially more than now, is an awesome experience. And I think that's all you're creating for them, bringing them in through the education and continuing that experience with the sales reps and the staff and everything. And it's one cohesive message, and it feels like a brand that's actually interacting with, being a humanized brand, essentially.
Totally. And that's a great point too. I think what we are trying to work through as a team is, what is that experience that people have in store? I think obviously as a restaurant brand, it's easy to say, you want people to eat and drink really good food and drinks, right? But what is the experience that people have? Is it that they're reading an educational piece, and then a staff person comes over and kind of, walks them through, like, what are the steps of service that's going on at the restaurant to really make people have a great experience? And now with COVID, we can't just stop at that dine-in experience. There's gonna be plenty of people that I think continue to choose to dine at their house. And I think while off-premise will shift a little bit back more towards dining in the restaurant, there's still going to be a huge opportunity to drive sales with off-premise. And a lot of that could be, for True Food, we'll continue to have our full menu online and available, but we've kind of shifted our strategy with COVID to being more of that value-driven family pack. So there's a lot of families dining at home or still working at home. They need that easy access. So it needs to be convenient and value-driven. And then additionally, we've kind of shifted strategy too, to be a little bit more into what is like a meal prep. So people are very busy. What's the experience that we can bring that you could potentially get in the restaurant off premise? And that's something like, providing easy, healthy meals for them to then have for meal prep during the week. Is it a value bundle? So not only in our minds and our strategy do we need to continue focusing on what is that in-store experience going to be, but what is that off-premise experience as well? And how do you make it the one and the same, right? Like it needs to be consistent and streamlined across both.
Love it. I mean, I definitely see why you guys are blowing up. Love it. And like I said, wanted to kind of touch on the loyalty program. I'm huge on this because it's what everyone tries to new customer acquisition, get someone in the doors for the first time, but that's the most expensive customer to get. And I think a lot of people lose focus on the lifetime value of a customer. How can we get them to come back more frequently, order more? And that's essentially where the loyalty program comes in. We're big on identifying how people are engaging with the brand, not just sales, but what content are they engaging with? What social posts are they liking? And taking some of those and continuing messaging in a personalized way across different channels. So it sounds like you guys saw success. You guys are kind of pivoting and building on that with this new loyalty program. Yep. We'd love to kind of hear what successes did you see in that first loyalty program? What pitfalls did you see? And how is that translating into this new program that you guys are launching?
Perfect. Love it. So our first loyalty program was the first ever loyalty program we've ever had. We've always had an email program, but with email, you don't get the guest data. And you don't get to send them personalized preferences unless you're segmenting, a database of 500,000 email members. And a lot of times, at least our company doesn't have that bandwidth to do that. So our first loyalty program launched, I believe, November of 2018. It was great for what it started out to be. The issue that we saw was there was a barrier to entry because you had to sign up, but you also had to link your credit card. And the entire point of linking a credit card is for you to be able to track spending and for us to be able to track your spending, but also then to generate more points towards offers. Yep. I think the other thing that we struggled with, other than the barrier to entry, was that the tiered programs were not messaged in a way that felt attainable for people. And the benefit, there wasn't enough, discounts. I think a lot of people join loyalty programs to be provided with rewards, right? And reasons to come back. And, or if it's not a discount in terms of like $1 off, like, are you giving me recipes, at least from our standpoint? What education are you giving me? Like, what am I getting from being a part of this? And I think what we had to do is evaluate that we weren't giving people enough to be a part of the program to want them to continue to remain. So a lot of the messaging and the offers that we would be sending out weren't even getting redeemed. And it's because the loyalty members that had signed up weren't engaged enough with the brand. And I think there's, like I said, a matter of, not feeling like if I'm going to go spend money, am I actually getting rewards? Like, does this matter? So we reevaluated, we signed on a new partner, and so the barrier to entry piece is a lot better. It's just first name, last name, email, or just email. We're able to track their spending based on phone numbers. So it's not adding a credit card in there. It's based on phone number, which I think people feel a lot more comfortable with. I mean, you can go through the ranks of adding everything in there if you'd like. And what we also did was we put a spending amount based on points. So you spend $1, you get a point. And it's that quick entry offer that you get. You spend $150, you get $15 in rewards. So really easy to understand and think through about what you are spending and what you're getting back. The other thing is that we have a lot more educational pieces in terms of our brand. And I think what we found is that if you're interested in signing up to be a loyalty member with True Food Kitchen, you are someone that really cares about the brand. Because, our average guest comes in 2 times a year. It's not as often as a fast casual guest. 2 to 3 times a year. And that's, again, like I said, we're a little bit more expensive. We're also not in every market. We're not easily accessible. So obviously our job is to increase that frequency. But our loyalty members are are our most loyal guests. And so what we figured out was what do they want to be messaged from us? And we're able to do that and look at that based on their spending habits. So we can say, hey, this group of people loves our seasonal menu. Let's send them a seasonal appetizer offering. This group of people comes in once every year. We need to get them back in. What's an offer that we can do that with? We've been doing a lot more surprise and delight offers with our loyalty members. For example, we just had a Super Bowl promo that went out. So if you were a loyalty member, you got a $10 bounce back in your account and had a couple weeks to use it. And our redemption rates have been going up. So it's finding, what is that sweet spot in terms of what are people wanting to spend? What are they wanting to buy? And what are they wanting to be messaged to? And it's just making our marketing more successful that way too.
That's awesome. I love it. I'm excited to kind of hear
how
the new launch goes and everything like that. Do you guys have anything folded in the plan on maybe rewarding based off engaging with content, knowing that the education piece is so big? Maybe you get 5 points if you watch this 30-second video that's maybe something that you've never even engaged with to help the cross awareness into.
Yes, that's a great question that you bring up, because we a couple weeks ago, actually, we had asked our loyalty members, what type of content do you want to hear from us? We're going to be doing a new Wellness Wednesday series launching this month for National Nutrition Month. And we asked them a series of questions, and it was the most engaging. It actually linked them to a post online on social media, but it was the most engaged post we've ever had before. And it was which is so cool because people do really care. And at the same time, we get amazing content ideas that we can bring back to them. And for us, what we've realized is it's very easy as a big brand to talk about yourself, right? Like, what do we offer? And we find that especially on social media, we've had to really reverse our strategy. What is the benefit that we're providing to our guests versus talking about ourselves? And it's very easy for brands to do that. So for us, that was a great learning experience too. These are the topics that people want to hear about. I mean, we had hundreds of responses, and that is now being, that's going to be our entire marketing strategy for this month on social media. We're kicking off a new Wellness Wednesday series with our chef, and every single topic covered are all those that were recommended by our guests. And we're hoping to continue that moving forward. But to your point, how can you reward people for actually, interacting with the brand? I think we're going to be doing double points days, and that's something that I'm sure we'll try as well.
Awesome. I think not just big brands, that every brand struggles with that. I mean, when we're going through the creative process, it's we do this is how we can help. But it's going back to the hero's journey. And this is something I'm always trying to wrap my head around is how can you make the consumer feel like the hero in the story, let them come with the idea, speak to their pain points, and then bring the values that overcome those pain points. And that's kind of how you can speak to yourself while kind of relating to and it's hard. It
is hard. And we've actually, I look back on how we used to lay out our marketing calendar for the year. And obviously it's, with COVID and everything, and with restaurants in general, it's hard to have an annual marketing calendar. It's more quarterly, maybe 6 months out. But we actually start by talking about what's the mood of the season. In January, your mood of the season is a lot different than it is in June when it's summer. Yeah. And what are the benefits that True Food can provide you? So for example, in the wintertime, what's the comfort food that we can give people but still healthy? Whereas summer, what are those refreshing beverages that people want to have? So we outline it based on the mood of the season, and obviously the mood of the season in Arizona is a little different than the mood of a season in New York City, what is the generic mood that people are feeling, and how can we provide a benefit to them based on that mood? And then we layer it in the rest of the calendar on top of that. So and that's where we've taken a step back I think we realized that we were talking a lot to ourselves about ourselves, and it's a lot about what people want to hear and exactly the benefit that you can provide to them.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you're pumped to kind of see the change in engagement and just sales and everything from shifting that strategy. I mean, it'll be a huge eye opener, I'm sure. And it'll be great to see that the sales numbers.
Yeah.
And speaking of COVID, I think a lot of businesses, specifically, the food and beverage, had to make huge changes. I mean, what were some of the big changes that I guess you guys had to overcome? I mean, obviously things closing down, you guys having to do takeout, all that type of stuff. I mean, not only are you trying to change your business model, how are you communicating to consumers it's craziness. How did you deal with it?
It's so funny, looking back on the past year. I mean, there was times when I mean, you're sending out emails that your store is closed one day. The next day you're telling them they're back open. So I mean, first and foremost, obviously, being a restaurant brand, we were known for our hospitality and that in-store experience. So it was really harmful, I think, at first to have to completely close down all of our restaurants and take the communication experience that people have in store online. And a lot of that was primarily done via email and social media. Additionally, the biggest thing was really that, you know, our budgets as a marketing team were completely cut immediately. And so we went from an entire marketing plan that was put together for the year to we had no money. And so pivoting was obviously the key there in terms of, you know, what are really effective marketing and communication strategies that we could use with a minimal budget. And that really goes back to social media, email, and just working with our store teams on being effective there. So, I mean, it was a shift in strategy, like you've talked about, not only from a communication and budget standpoint, but our entire culinary strategy really shifted. So, you know, like I said, we pride ourselves on the experience and the hospitality that we provide in store. How does that shift our entire menu strategy for off-premise? So what we did, we had to dial in, obviously labor was cut. So that means less people working in the restaurant, less people to make all the food. So we actually had to reduce our menu quite a bit. We took a look at all of our core, you know, top selling items. What are the favorites? Also things that travel well. And then what are some of those value-driven bundle and packs that people can enjoy at home with families in a convenient and value-driven way. So as a marketer, our entire strategy really shifted to communicating just on email, website, social, and it was really pushing those off-premise offerings. When things started to kind of come back in the summertime, what we had to do is actually do kind of a shift in terms of how we connected with people in store again. So when restaurants were opening back up, whether it was dine-in, at 25, 50% capacity or just strictly using the patio. We launched a contactless mobile ordering system for the first time. And it essentially allowed people to come in. You'd have the entire menu on your phone, obviously from a QR code perspective, like a lot of restaurants did, and just order and be in and out without even talking to a server. And I think for us, that was a struggle for us because like I said, I think people want to dine out because they want to be served and waited on. Right. And so that kind of took away that hospitality piece to it. And we've brought back in, the normal hospitality piece and still have that as an option if people want that. But it was shifting everything from, our marketing communication budget, the way people dine with us, technology, all the way down to the restaurant design. I mean, we had to cut down, a ton of different, chairs and getting people in was just a completely different experience. So it was a lot.
Yeah. 20 different conversations that are happening at once that typically take 6 to 12 months to finally think through, get rolled out. How to do it in weeks. I mean, that's tough.
It was. I mean, and then, you have smaller teams doing the exact same amount of work. So it was just a lot of overtime for everyone. But I think that we're happy. I think we've taken the experience that we had last year and we want to make sure that we're utilizing all those learnings from last year into this year, but also, what does that look like to get people back into restaurants again? I think, I'm sure everyone has heard it's going to be like the resurgence of whatever that was, the 80s and 90s, whatever it was.
Roaring
20s. Yes. And, hopefully that's the case, but I don't think things will be back to normal until, late summer, early fall. But what is the experience that people now want to have? I think the biggest thing that's going to come out of this, at least for restaurants, in my opinion, is that people are going to want to go out and they're going to want to have a memorable experience. Yeah. So instead of just like coming and sitting down and dining out again, which might be fine for some people, but I do think a lot of people are going to want that memorable experience. And the restaurant brands that, or just any brand that really owns that and creates that memorable experience for them are going to be the ones that win.
And you guys are probably going to see, I'm sure you guys have already experienced this, maybe new audience segments that you guys have never seen before because they're willing to pay a little bit more for that experience, the experience that you guys give, and not only the experience in store, but how they feel after. I mean, not just lethargic and full and all that.
Yeah. And that's why I think our strategy is going to shift even more so this year than it ever has in terms of, like I said, we're really going to start shifting focus to more of the benefit that you can feel after eating our food versus just talking about what's in the food. Like obviously the ingredients and the educational piece is important, but we're going to take it a little bit differently and do more of that educational piece in terms of, did you know turmeric in this ingredient can make you feel happy because of X, Y, and Z? Our drinks are built with all of these awesome ingredients too. and maintaining health, really. I mean, I think people are going to be even more focused on staying healthy now. And what are the things that I can be doing for that? And I think the other thing that is definitely going to shift, in my opinion, and it already has, is that people are really going to be doing what is best for themselves, right? And I think that self-care has become so much more important. So, from a messaging standpoint with loyalty, with eClub, we're trying to incorporate more into our content strategy on that lifestyle piece. So it's providing recipes that people can make at home. It's a self-care piece. Like I said, we're going to do this Wellness Wednesday series to provide people with an educational place on our platforms where they can go on a continuous basis to learn more about that lifestyle piece too.
You guys are onto something huge, because I'm willing to bet there's a lot more people that are searching for foods that make me feel a certain way, or to overcome anxiety, or to sleep better and stuff like that. And so if you start leaning more into, rather than, oh, we have wholesome ingredients, right, and this, like, it's everyone's messaging with that now. But no one's messaging with, do you want to feel this way? These are the foods to eat. And whether it's in home or dining out, you guys are onto something to where not only is it going to make you guys findable from an SEO perspective, but you go back to the can reward people based off of consuming stuff. If people start watching that more, they're going to be like, I want to feel happier. I want to feel less this and more that. And you're going to have true foods in the mind. It
is. And it's a shift in mentality too, I think, for guests. There's a couple of brands that aren't restaurant brands that I think do it really well too. Care of, they're a vitamin company. And it's all about, okay, what are you trying to fix for yourself? Like, what do you want to feel? What do you want help with? And how can we help you? Like, I think that's where the shift needs to be, instead of just like getting people back into the restaurant and trying to make money again. It's no, like, let's think about what people are wanting to shift in their mentality and how they feel, and how we can help them with that.
Because let's think of the consumer. Let's start talking about what we offer and what do you want to feel? Let us help you feel that way. And that's what's going to win.
Exactly. And it's, it's not only in the store, it's like, then can we partner with some health and wellness brands? We do a lot with yoga and fitness brands in terms of offering some, whether it's a discount or a partnership, between the two. Come eat with us and go grab a yoga class across the street.
Almost like a whole day where you can do so nature walk, then you can come in, have lunch, go to yoga. That'd be sweet.
Exactly.
That'd be sweet. So, I mean, you've kind of touched on a few things. I know we've talked a lot about, how you guys have pivoted. Sounds like you guys are onto a few, big things that you guys are trying to work on. And then in the near term, the next 3 to 6 months, I guess, what are you guys working on from a, either strategy or new thing perspective as a company, but also you professionally?
Yeah. Great question. So I would say we have like 3 to 4 goals that are really top of mind for us. So one, like I've said, we're trying to reimagine what it means for people to dine at restaurants and actually be the leader for having that experience for our guests. So we're currently thinking through, from the time a guest walks into the restaurant to the time they sit down at the table to the time they order a drink, what's that entire experience for them look like, in addition to ordering online. So it's really reimagining that. And it's going to be done through things that live at the table, through things that go in your to-go bag. It's going to be never before seen that creates that exciting experience for them. So that's kind of first and foremost. Second, it's really diving into having an effective spend on digital. So I think we've talked a little bit about, we've had this giant marketing strategy where we have 80 to 85% of our budget really spent on digital. We need to get really, really specific about where we're spending to make sure that we're reaching the right people. So we have hired a new lead of our digital team who has been amazing at really diving into the numbers and really being effective on where we're spending. So, are we spending on the right channels? Are we targeting the right people? Do we need to hone in on certain markets based on that spend and what's working for us and what's not? So it's getting really effective with our marketing spend and strategy. It's really being strategic in our seasonal menu changes too. So we did a survey actually exactly a year ago. And the whole point of the survey was to find out if people weren't coming back to the restaurant, why were they not coming back, and where were they going and why? And I think that one of the biggest things that we found was people love the fact that we're a seasonal restaurant. We need to continue to educate them on what eating seasonal means and why it's beneficial. So that's obviously our job as marketers to do that, but it's also almost increasing that seasonal change. And so what we're going to be doing is, we have our 4 core seasonal menu changes, winter, spring, fall, summer, but how can we add in some micro seasonal changes that then create that another experience? And a micro seasonal change could be something as simple as just a, limited time offering that's there for a week or two. It could be having a prefix dinner menu that's special for only Monday through Friday to drive that dinner business. It could be a plethora of things. So really honing in on that strategy there. And then lastly, the loyalty program is huge for us. And that was another piece of that research we got back was people would actually come back to us more if we had a better loyalty program. And so it's focusing on like, what are those messages that people want to hear? And what are the food items that they want to be coming in for? And how can we utilize all the data that we get from them in a better way? Because I think that people are definitely willing to share more information about themselves if it's going to be beneficial to them, right? If marketers are actually going to use it in a way that matters. And it's, it's funny, you hear some people that hate targeted advertising because of all the information that they already have on you, but some people love it too. Yeah. So I think it's just finding kind of a happy medium on how we are marketing to them and how we're getting them to come back more. And like you said, how are we rewarding them, whether it's in, offers or whether it's in, experiences that we can provide for communicating with our brand, for coming back, and for spreading the news and awareness on our brand as well. So it's really all of those. I think obviously that's a lot. And I think when it comes down to it, we want to be a place that people are really excited to come back to again. And, creating that experience in store and online is huge.
No, those are big goals. But I mean, hearing what you guys have done so far, I mean, I've been seeing the name pop up more and more and more in my feeds and stuff like that. So you guys are growing, and I have no doubt that you guys are going to accomplish those goals. And I think all three of those goals are huge. And I think they're going to lead to big business goals that you guys are going to accomplish. And so excited to kind of see it take place.
Yeah.
And you, what are you working on to just make yourself a better marketer?
Personal goals for me, I think. So my goal on my team currently is to grow my team. We have been such a nimble team up until this point, and I think we've taken a lot of learnings. Obviously COVID was a really tough time for everyone, but it was especially hard on our team. Just having to be nimble, like we talked about, and things constantly changing and, long hours, long days, and not having that stability. So now that we are shifting back towards that, my goal as a marketer is to grow my team under me. So I'm going to be hiring a marketing manager and then hopefully having them hire someone, which only is going to enable the rest of the team to grow. And just in general, being a better leader. I've had a couple of opportunities to manage people. And I think what I've learned is the amount of work that you put into for managing someone else is only going to benefit you in the long run. So I want to spend more time in helping other people grow at the company and sharing a lot of the insights and learnings that I've had with them and really spending that time so that then I can grow. I think it's easy as a marketer to kind of get in your own hole. Yeah. So building the team and then also just expanding my knowledge of the industry too, not only in restaurants, but also in hospitality. I think that obviously hospitality is a huge industry. It's, as a marketer, you need to be in the know with all the operations as well. And I think just being closer with my team on that and, being more transparent about our marketing strategy and sharing that openly would be big too.
No, that's awesome. You're definitely a good leader. Can hear that in some of those goals. And as we kind of wrap up, this has been great. It's been great to kind of understand more of your background and where you guys are going as a company. To that person that might be searching for somewhere to eat, they're on their phone, they're on Google, place to eat near me. They see True Foods Kitchen. Why should they choose you guys?
Great question. Oh gosh, the 10-second elevator speech. So True Food, in my mind, is a place that you're going to go, you're going to walk in, you're immediately going to get energy. There's a lot of places out there that you can go. There's a lot of fast casual places that you can go. You can go through a line, you can get that quick experience. You can do that at True Food, but you can also have that sit down dining experience. We're a casual restaurant brand, but at the same time, you can go have great food and great beverages too. So it's everything from, your favorite burgers, pizzas, tacos, to if you want to be a health nut, we have, new things like the spring rolls coming out that have the baro nut, like brand new things coming. So it's an experience in itself coming into the restaurant. You get amazing, great tasting food that doesn't sacrifice anything from the quality ingredient standpoint. So you're having a delicious meal, you're having great ingredients that you're going to walk away feeling amazing. And our staff is going to help you to learn more about things that will help you to live a better lifestyle. So I mean, I think it's a win-win for everyone. And yeah.
Awesome. No, I love it. I definitely recommend it. I love it. My wife loves it. I know we had someone that, Alyssa, she went there, I think 2 or 3 days ago. And so I was like, hey, they're going to come on the podcast here soon. So
I love that.
Nothing but great stuff, great feedback that I hear from everyone. So definitely check it out. Awesome. Appreciate it. Can't wait to watch you guys accomplish those big goals, watch you guys grow and continue to give people a better experience.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast, Dustin. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.